Hello, beautiful community. Welcome to our compassionate weekly accountability meeting or live stream. I am always honored that you are here and taking this time for yourself, for your healing, and for reclaiming your worth. And of course, today we're talking about something that it's very common for many of my clients and members, the everyday struggles and aspirations of parentified daughters. Raise your hand if you are a parentified daughter. That's me. So I want to disclose first and foremost, before we start, that parentification and complex trauma, especially parentification trauma, it is my specialty as a psychotherapist and coach. By the way, I am Karina Ibar Jacobs, licensed psychotherapist and coach. And the reason that I specialize in parentification is because not only do I specialize in this on a professional level, but based on lived experiences and my own healing and growth work. So I am very passionate, and I always say I am a recovering parentified daughter because this is an ongoing process. And you should be proud of yourself for being here if you have embarked on your journey of healing and shedding, letting go of all the unhealthy patterns that do not serve you. I want you to pause and just tap yourself on your shoulders and be proud. And I already see, ooh, familiar. Well, should I say, well, familiar comments. Hello and welcome, TNT. Beautiful. I want to say shout out to TNT because she or they, I'm sorry. Ooh, I see Lolly too. So TNT actually requested this topic after seeing this post that it was a repost that I had written a while ago about the common clients issues that I witnessed, which is parentified daughters and all the dynamics. So I hope that you find this helpful, TNT, and everyone else that is joining. Welcome, welcome, Loli. It's wonderful to have you here. Let's see. And TNT says, "Thank you. I'm Tina. My initials are TNT. Ah, beautiful. It's wonderful to meet you again. And welcome, Tina. Okay, it's a pleasure to serve you. And everyone, please learn from Tina and request whatever topics you would like me to address. I will be more than happy to do so. Okay, I will be on the lookout for the comments. Say hello, tell us where you're joining from if you feel compelled to um, at any moment. If you have any questions, please, or you resonate, don't be shy and comment. Okay, so now back to our topic, right? The everyday struggles and aspirations of parentified daughters, and how those early invisible wounds still show up in our everyday lives as adults. So, I want to invite you to take a deep breath with me. Place your hand over your heart if you feel called to. It's okay if you don't. And I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, expanding your belly. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I want you to hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale slowly. Let's ground ourselves as we navigate this very complex topic that affects a lot of us. You are in a space where your story is seen, heard, and deeply honored. And I hope that you feel that throughout our conversations and interactions. So let's understand the everyday struggles of parentified daughters. When a child grows up too soon, emotionally or practically, because parents or a parent was unavailable, immature, or emotionally unsafe, something profound happens. And it is that you learn that love means sacrifice. You learn that your needs are secondary or dangerous, and you become the emotional caretaker, the crisis manager, while still being just a little girl, especially referring to parentified daughters. And while you may be an adult now, successful, dependable, responsible, those early dynamics, they didn't stay in the past, but they show up every single day. And this often shows up in ways that are normalized by you, even when you are exhausted or how painful these everyday dynamics show up. You are so used to just like gearing up and showing up and go, 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 because it's okay. Other people have it worse. That often many of my clients do not realize that they have been parentified. In fact, they minimize it. They didn't even know that this is a trauma, or that there is a name for this dynamic. And the moment that we start to acknowledge, we put a name to it, and I give them the script, because it's almost verbatim what I hear from my clients, also based on lived experiences. I can relate so much to growing up too soon, to becoming an adult ahead of time, to being exposed to situations that your young psyche shouldn't have to handle as a child, and stepping it up, and even realizing that you couldn't trust the judgment of the adults around you. I want to pause, and if you're resonating at any moment, please comment I, even now, if you feel comfortable to do so. So let's name some of the struggles. Number one, chronic overfunctioning. You take you take on way more responsibilities than you should at work, relationships, and even friendships with family. You may be the fixer or therapist, the planner, even when you are burning out inside. And I want to give you an example. You are the one organizing family events, solving friends' crises, offering help before anyone asks, even when no one reciprocates. You just continue to show up for others. Does that resonate? And I see, okay. Thank you, Tina. I see Tina commenting, I. There you go. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. Another dynamic or struggle, people pleasing and fear of conflict. Saying no feels dangerous, selfish, you feel guilty, because growing up, saying no might have been, it might have triggered guilt tripping or rejection or anger. For example, you agree to do things that you don't want to, and later you feel resentful or drained or like nobody understands you. Let me know in the comments if you resonate so far and with what. Okay? But it's okay. Let's continue. Number three, emotional loneliness. And I often refer to this as feeling like an emotional orphan. It's almost like you have given up on the idea of being reciprocated, of people ever understanding you. And even though you long for to be held, to be seen, you have one foot in and one foot out in relationships. And it may not be so consciously that you are aware of that, but subconsciously, you are 10 steps ahead because you believe that at any moment, people will let you down. So you are consistently planning. And this actually shows up a lot with a lot of us who do not come from privilege or, from affluent families, where financially we are extra planners. And the thought or the feeling of being financially unstable, it is petrifying and debilitating. So often, a lot of parentified daughters are these overachievers that you witness, these leaders, right? But we can mask it so well, the fact that we feel like emotional orphans, like nobody can understand you. Okay. So I see. Hello, hello. And Rat Tokyo says, hi. Hello. I believe this is Natalie. Hello, hello. Okay. And let's see. TNT comments. My mother never gave me any emotional support or validation as a child. I want to pause before I finish reading your comments. And I'm truly sorry that you experienced that. And I can almost visualize you. I'm not there with you, Tina, but usually my clients are like, it's okay. What can we do? But no, it's not okay. And we're not here to vilify our parents. However, for whatever reason that was, I'm sorry that you experienced that because it is often not what is done to us, but what is not done for us that creates the trauma and this emotional void. So thank you for your vulnerability, Tina. I am an only child, so I always just depended on myself emotionally. Wow. And I commend you for being here and for embarking on this journey because it's not easy and it's not okay. And often our parents are the product, the product of trauma. More often than not, parentified daughters are the daughters of parentified daughters, and so on, generationally. My mother was extremely parentified. And by the way, I want to take this opportunity to make a pause and announce that this coming month, Mental Health Awareness Month in May, I will be releasing my personal story. It'll be 10 minutes, but it's a documentary style video where I disclose for the first time the struggles, my trauma, and my healing journey that led to this work. Because I have been a parentified daughter, amongst other traumatic experiences that I uh, experienced and witnessed as a child. And I'll be speaking more on that. Very likely have an in person event if you're in New York City. So be on the lookout. And eventually, I will premiere this documentary style video online on YouTube. So stay tuned. And hopefully you resonate. And even if you don't, I thank you for watching it and being here. So back to our topic, and I see Tina. Let's see. I thought I saw someone else comment. Okay. Well, yes. What we often experience is that even though our parents are there providing financially or just putting, a roof over our head and feeding us, we don't often hear the words, I love you, or I am sorry. That is so foreign in these dysfunctional family dynamics. And more often than not, I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone, but more often than not, our parents were trained to repress their emotions, basically. And they believe that by feeding us and showing us, a plate of food. That's a way of apologizing. That's a way of, that you should know that you are loved, right? It's just granted, but no, of course not. We want to hear those affirming words and the love, right? And let's see. I see, Tina, you said, yes, my mother is emotionally immature and most likely a borderline. I'm so sorry that you've been experiencing that. It took me 4 years of therapy to see the truth. Yes, and that is the hard truth. And I hope that you have dedicated the time to grieve the loss of the idea that you had potentially of what a mother should be and how they should be showing up. Sometimes, or more often than not, we hold a lot of resentment, and that can show up by us shutting down or lashing out in anger or avoiding. So we become workaholics, and we engage in busyism, and we are focusing on other people so that we don't face this extreme pain that we may be feeling inside. So I hope that you are dedicating time to grieve these losses and at the same time to connect with chosen family, creating chosen family. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your vulnerability. So, and you said, I have no anger and I accept her, but when no contact, she will not apologize or take accountability. Yeah, I'm sorry that that is the case. And that is also a part of grieving and acceptance. It's not to absolve our family from responsibility, but setting boundaries. And in a way, after you have metabolized all the emotions in order to move on properly, whether you go through anger, sadness, bargaining, then you can choose to forgive if you are ready. And if you have done the work of metabolizing all the emotions and identifying them and not forgive prematurely, not for them, but actually for your own good. So you do not hold all this unhealthy real estate in your body of resentment and anger. I mean, it's okay to resent people and love them, or love them and not like them, and that's okay. So, again, emotional loneliness is where you feel profoundly uh, unseen. You were not taught, or you were not taught that emotions were a priority. For example, you may have partners, friends, family, but you still feel alone with your pain, your dreams, or your needs. Or you show up for them, but they do not show up for you. Or you may even struggle with accepting support. So, those are the ways that we show up very hyper independent and then wonder, not to blame you, because I know it is a survival mechanism, but these are ways that we can become hyper independent and then we resent people for not showing up in the same manner that we do, but we are not vulnerable enough either. So something to reflect on. Number 4 is hypervigilance and anxiety. You are constantly scanning for what could go wrong, overthinking texts, interactions, tone of voice, because you had to anticipate adults' moods when you were growing up, or when you were with your family, or when you visit them or see them. For example, after a conversation, you replay everything you said, worried, you upset someone when there was no evidence you did, right? You're worried that you didn't say the right thing. So that's an example. Number 5 is struggles with receiving support, as I mentioned, right? Support feels uncomfortable. Vulnerability feels very risky, and trust feels earned only through your usefulness, not your existence. Simply being, and I always say to my clients and members, like, how about we work on you becoming a human being versus a human doing? And they often smile because they're like, that's a good way of putting it, right? And I see more comments. Let's see. Well, hello, Satilda. It's wonderful to have you back. Hello. I see that you relate, and Loli as well. I see that you are all relating. So thank you so much for sharing that. So, again, let me give you an example. Someone offers help and you immediately say, no, no, it's okay, right? I've got it. Don't worry. Even when you are crumbling inside and you really need the help, but you feel embarrassed or you don't want to be a burden. That's another thing. A lot of my members, a lot of my clients, even though they are so quick to pick up the phone, oh, hi. Oh, yeah, yes, of course, of course. You know what? I am swamped, but when I finish, I will make sure that I'll send it to you. Whether it's lending money, whether it is being a listening ear, whether it is, yeah, yeah, let me pick you up or let me do this for you, let me find these resources for you. So you drop everything and you can show up for someone else. However, when it is time for you to receive support, oh boy, so uncomfortable, right? Right? So let's see. I see another comment. And it is so funny how we are taught that emotions are not a priority, but we are expected to monitor theirs. Absolutely. Absolutely. That kind of expectation and neglect hurts my brain. Absolutely. Because I always mention this. I know I sound like a broken record, but I always mention that we are, as parentified daughters, very other centered. You see, other people are self centered. We are other centered when we are parentified. And that is why we are so quick. In fact, people may perceive us as like psychic because we know we are so attuned to other people's emotions that it is unexplicable. And other people are so consumed in their own interests that to us, we even struggle with our own emotions and what we need because we're not so used to being on the spotlight and thinking about ourselves um, so often. And we often feel guilty if we are having a good time or getting something for ourselves if we witness a family member struggling, even though it's through that family member's own doing and not seeking support of healing their own unhealthy patterns. We feel bad and we want to rescue everyone, right? And Loli says, this is so true. I'm glad you're resonating. And Tina says, narcissists usually love us. They love to receive our giving energy. Amen to that. Why? Because they're very self centered and they can see that, easy prey, lots of supply. When you are other centered, it's so easy to show up for others and for someone who is very selfish to just be drawn to us because, hey, you are this lovely, generous person that sometimes we can be borderline very naive, actually. So, I want to offer you some aspirations that I often witness my clients and members because despite all of this, there's a quiet voice inside of you that dreams of a different way of being, even if it feels scary or, foreign, selfish, or too much. These aspirations, live within you because you were never meant to abandon yourself. So, here are some of the sacred, beautiful longings many parentified daughters carry. Number one, the desire for safe, reciprocal relationships, to be loved for who you are and not for what you do, to receive tenderness without earning it through performance or perfectionism, because that is another trait. We are perfectionists, whether that is by overfunctioning and wanting to present this very perfect image. I mean, who is perfect, right? Or we suffer from paralysis by analysis. That is perfectionism as well. And I see another comment at Tokyo Nat says, Narcissist. Today I remembered my college graduation. I only invited my mother and father. My mother left because she felt I didn't want her there, as if she wasn't literally 50% of the guest list. I'm truly sorry you experienced that. Unfortunately, emotionally immature or narcissistic parents make many things about themselves. I am hoping that you are taking extra care of yourself, and during that time you were able to. So I'm sorry that you experienced that. Thank you for sharing also. I love this community. Thank you all. I'm just like send you all a lot of love. Little parentheses because I want you to know how much I appreciate you for showing up and taking the time to be here tonight, and also sharing and being seen, being vulnerable. So if you have any questions, please post them in the comments. As you can see, I'm on the lookout. So thank you all. Back to our aspirations because it is important. Number two is that there is this dream of rest without feeling guilty, to lay down, to rest because you are human and not because you have earned it, and not feel guilty if you have some period of time where you are unproductive. Your level of your worth is not tied to your level of productivity. It never was and it never will. And when we live in a system like this one, right? A capitalist system that is often promoting consumerism and you need to produce, 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 we often lose sight of who we are, of our humanity, of our spirituality, of our just being, our essence, and our interpersonal connections. So I don't want you to fall into that trap. And I want you to compassionately and courageously rest, especially as a parentified daughter. It is okay. It is okay to put your feet up, okay? Heck, I will do that tonight. And I'm going to use my little massager because I deserve that. But let me tell you, in the past, forget about it. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I should be doing this and not, whatever. No, you deserve rest. Number three, the longing to be truly seen and heard, to have your emotions, your sadness, your anger, your joy held with compassion without being minimized or turned against you. Those are some of the common aspirations that I witness with my clients and members. Number four, the craving for inner peace, to silence the relentless inner critic that usually is there telling you that you're not good enough, and replace it with a loving inner parent that tells you it's okay, just be. You deserve love just as you are. You don't need to function. You don't need to look a certain way. You don't need to hold this title. You don't need to have this job to be accepted. So, those are some of the aspirations, and it's very possible. And I see. Oh, thank you. As you said, yes, please rest, Karina. Thank you. I hope you do that too. Yes. So, number 5, the commitment to break the cycle. To be a cycle breaker, the one who chooses healing, boundaries, and self love, not just for yourself, but for future generations. A lot of my clients and members are these wonderful people who are cycle breakers. And these dreams are not naive, they are sacred, they're your right. And those aspirations are part of the bravest and courageous part of who you are and your essence. And as we slowly transition into ending the live stream, not yet, I want to give you a reflective exercise, right? If you haven't, grab a notebook or somewhere where you can write. So I want to invite you to reflect or share in the comments, what is one everyday struggle you recognize in yourself? And what is one aspiration your heart quietly holds? No judgments here, just compassion. Please write that down. Please comment. I want to give you an example. You can say, I recognize that I say yes to too much because I'm scared to disappoint people, and I aspire to feel safe saying no. Another one is, I see that I overwork myself for approval, and I dream of feeling loved even when I'm still and not doing anything. And I want you to remember that awareness is not self blame, but it is the first step toward change. And if you are ready for deeper support on this journey, where your dreams, your pain, and your healing are honored every step of the way, and if you haven't done so, I invite you to check out our Self Worth Hub. It is a space built by someone who understands your journey, yours truly, because I've walked it too. And you don't have to walk it alone. And you will see that it is a community of wonderful, wonderful women, truly genuine, courageous, generous, and I feel honored to serve them, that will be there for you. I want to also ask you, what were some roles that you had to take on as a child that were too big for you? Okay? Please write it down if you haven't. These reflection questions. The next one, and by the way, I'll post them in the comments after our live stream has ended for your reference. Okay? Another prompt would be, and I'm like, oh, battery is low. I was just warned. What unmet needs from childhood still show up and that seek acknowledgement today? What would it feel like to lay down the responsibility of being the strong one, even for a moment? I want you to reflect on that. And what is one small way that you can choose yourself today without guilt? What dream for your life have you hidden because it's felt selfish or unrealistic? What would your inner child say if she finally felt safe enough to dream about it out loud? To dream. And since we are closing the session, let me read the comments Let me see. And then we're going to close with compassionate affirmations, compassionate and empowering one. Let's see. So all of this is great and validated. How do we give these concepts the weight it deserves so that we can internalize it? When I try to do this, it never, wait, I never punches, oh, it never punches as hard as the weight of, and let me continue. Okay. Well, to address your question, uh, Natalie, right? I have to say, it truly, even though it sounds cliche, it takes one day at a time. And it takes validating yourself, being courageous enough to show up for yourself. The more you work on identifying your needs and prioritizing your needs, the more likely you are to feel empowered, to not feel guilty, to not question yourself enough. And the more that you open yourself up in community and you see that you're not alone, the more you will stop questioning and thinking that you are too much on this journey. I hope that that is helpful to you. And then I see Tina, who says, I have awareness and I am able to say no and put me first, but I struggle with trust because it seems like all relationships are very conditional these days. I have to say, I see you, and it can feel that way. I would invite you to evaluate what relationships you are nurturing or connecting with. And I'm hoping that as you embark on this journey, you are able to discern the people who deserve you and those who do not. Because we also can close off and not allow certain opportunities because of past traumas. So make sure that you're not closing yourself off completely. There are good people out there and trustworthy people. Let's see. And then it says, the negative ingrained in us. I know this is a continual process. The weight of these positive concepts only come after I've been burnt, that I have to give into the positive. Oh. And then you said, lastly, can you do a wham about finding what you like and what your dreams are as a parentified child? I've been thinking about this a lot and I have no idea what my dreams are. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing this. I actually did one wham a few weeks ago. I will make sure to reference it. Well, actually, if you go into the Self Worth Hub podcast, which is this series of wham, meaning weekly accountability meetings, but I call it compassionate weekly accountability meetings because WAMS is inspired by the book that the what is it, 12-year week? I'm forgetting the name, but that author came up with that name. So I call these compassionate weekly accountability meetings. And I'll make sure to um, reference it in the description if you would like, or send it over. And I will definitely expand on that from the perspective of being parentified. So thank you for requesting that. Yes, Natalie, thank you. And then to Tilda, speaking my truth, whether or not it is validated by others. I love that. Yes, yes, yes. Have your own back. You should have your own back. And lastly, I want to close with these beautiful affirmations. Okay. Take a deep breath in through your nose, expanding your belly. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hold it. And slowly release, blowing out a candle. It is safe for me to have needs. I am allowed to rest even when others are still asking more of me. I release the roles that were never meant for me. I am worthy of love even when I am not fixing, saving, or performing. It is safe to choose myself. Now let's take a deep breath in and exhale gently and slowly. I want to thank you for showing up for yourself today, because healing is not about becoming someone new, but returning to who you were always, who you were meant to be before the world asked so much of you, because you are worthy of that peace, of that love, that rest. And I hope I can see you next Sunday. And until then, I want you to please be gentle with yourself. You are doing sacred and important work. Take care and remember your resilience, everyone. Okay? Now, on to the comments. And as usual, if you have any more questions, I'll be on the lookout. You can just post them in the chat, in the comments, post live stream, and I'll make sure to answer them. I see each and every comment, and I am grateful for all of you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. And thank you for showing up for yourselves. Good night, everyone. Take care.